Mama's Dirty Girls is a 1974 exploitation film from director John Hayes. The movie opens with nudity. In case you weren't sure what kind of movie this was going to be, this is Becky and all of her bits. Oh boy, this print is a bit rough. A white bikini, that's brave. Becky goes to relax in the pool, which attracts the attention of her stepfather, George. Oh no. Becky's trying to tempt George, but he's not falling for it, although he's trying to drown his temptations in booze. Becky doesn't give up that easily, and goes inside. Don't sit your wet self on the exotic Naugahyde couch. Becky taunts George some more, and George's perv switch hits critical mass. Just as this happens, Mama catches him in the act. In order for him to not go to jail, Mama coerces George into signing a full confession. However, what she has him write is a little concerning.
I realize I can't go on.
A short time later, Addie, the oldest sister, is arguing with Cindy, the youngest. Cindy's going out for the evening. That night, Becky's not done yet.
George!
Oh, geez. I've already seen this porno. George isn't fooled by Becky's thottery, and so he puts her clothes back on. He needs to hit her on the nose with a rolled-up newspaper. No! Bad Becky! Just then, Mama and Addie attack with the straight razor. They set it up to make it look like he killed himself, and they leave the letter he wrote as his note. Cindy comes home and finds him in the bathroom. Turns out Mama, Becky, and Addie have been running a scam, which Cindy was unaware of. That way they can use her for an alibi. After the funeral, Mama's reading the will. She thought George was loaded, but it turns out he was lying and has nothing. So the gang has to pack it up and find a new rich guy to scam. Meanwhile, in another town, Roy, the sheriff, is turning down his wife's advances. He wants a divorce, but she refuses. Wait, they can do that? Mama's speeding, and so the sheriff pulls her over. Mama then tries to act stupid.
Oh, well, the fact is, officer, we're not familiar with your laws here.
Yeah, laws like stop signs and speed limits. Since they're all hot, the sheriff convinces them to stay at the local health resort. This may be because he's making googly eyes at Addie. The girls head over, Jenny's Health Resort. Even the sign looks like it gave up. The ladies pull up, unaware of what parking spots are. Harold sees 4 pretty women and immediately starts schmoozing. Working on the house is Willie or something. Harold informs Mama that he's a widower, and she instantly takes the bait and goes for the counter. You're a widower? I'm a widow. He lets her know he owns all this land, which goes back to what Mama was telling the girls in the beginning.
Because a man is only a man, but property is security.
So naturally, she's seeing jackpot. The handyman Paul is dropping off some stuff. Harold's showing Mama around the grounds and is getting a little handsy. Paul sees Cindy working at the giant industrial-sized washing machine. He hits on her a little bit, and it goes well. Willie's smashing the old punching bag, and so Becky decides to taunt him.
What are you doing, Willie?
I punch this so I don't touch my penis all day long. Some time's gone by, and Mama's got her hooks in Harold. She tells him they can't do it until they're married. Well, then back to dry humping. That afternoon, Addie's getting some sun. Roy goes over to warn her that being this pale is a fire hazard. Ah, God, ma'am. A natural ginger trying to get a tan? Are you mad? Although, wait, it's clearly fall. Who sunbathes in November? Good to know that crime's so low in town, the sheriff can spend the afternoon hitting on the local redhead. Mama calls Addie because they need to have a family meeting. Then Roy watches her walk away. All the way away. Without there being an edit or anything. You can end this scene at any time, movie, if you want to just kind of stop, showing her walk away. There she goes. Roy runs into Harold. Turns out Harold's wife died under mysterious circumstances. So it seems Harold and Mama are made for each other after all. They're both manipulative murderers. Mama informs the girls that she's going to marry Harold, and then they'll inherit this entire health spa. Just think, girls, all of this could be yours. Harry confronts Harold. He tells him how he saw him drown his wife, and tries to blackmail him or he'll go to the cops. Maybe don't try to blackmail a guy while he's holding an axe? Okay, great! You agreed to all my terms. Now I'll just turn my back and... The next day, the lucky couple are married. Harold's impatient and wants to get to the post-marriage sex immediately. Mama's putting her clothes away and finds a gun. Oh, goody. I'll just set this aside for later. Dude just keeps random firearms around his house in drawers. Was this Texas? Now, it's time for sex. Afterwards, it's time for pie. Who doesn't enjoy a good post-sex pie? Mama made Harold think that she inherited a bunch of money from George. So he thinks if he offs her, he'll be more rich. I mean, he got away with it once, why not again? Mama and Harold have a conversation, and I sure do hope it's not important to the plot. That night, it seems Paul's been seeing Cindy. Roy runs into Harold and tells him he thinks it's suspicious that they never found his wife's super expensive jewelry. So Harold goes in, yep, here's the jewels I tucked away safe and sound. No one will find this Renaissance Festival level costume jewelry. Roy goes to see Addie. Addie tells Roy to leave his wife. Mama's helping Harold with some work. He drops a wrench and then... Oh boy. The rest of this movie is going to be these two accidentally trying to kill the other one, isn't it? Mama can't get the car to start, so she gets Harold to give her a push. She then tries to run him over. Addie's talking to Cindy. Then, catfight! Oh man, I don't want to miss this. Ladies, please, I can't get any more aroused. He grabs Addie and Cindy runs away. Addie can't believe she could just be thrown around like a rag doll. Addie finds a knife that Paul dropped, and she has an evil idea. Becky continues to tease Willie for some reason. She takes him to her room so she can model her new bikini. Oh boy, Willie, tonight's the night. Becky is doing something that rhymes with rock, please. She presents herself, and he grabs her, but that's a big nope. She convinces Willie to let her go, and he heads back to his room so he can make some more ceiling stalactites. Addie goes to see Roy's wife. How very nice of her to serve lunch to the lady who's boning her husband. Since she can't convince her to divorce Roy, she stabs her to death. Roy is sorry that she's dead. Since she was stabbed with Paul's knife, they think that he was the killer. Harold's messing around with the electric, so Mama thinks this is another golden opportunity. He turned the power off, and so she turns it back on, only to see that Cindy's shown up to help. She gets there just in time. After the sex, Roy tells Addie he knows that she killed his wife. I like how he waited until afterwards to tell her. He doesn't want to cover up her crime, but the sex is so good! Paul goes to see Cindy. He tells her he's innocent. Since he doesn't have anywhere to go, Paul hides in the shed, where he finds Harold's wife's priceless jewels. Cindy takes the jewels to show Mama. She tells her that Harold murdered his wife. Then she has a startling revelation.
Harold murdered his wife. Harold? Why, Harold could no more murder anybody than I could.
Oh yeah, oops. Mama gets all the girls together to come up with a big scheme to get the land, the jewels, and send Harold to prison. Becky has to keep Willie occupied. Addie has to keep Roy, the only cop in town, busy. Cindy has to go show Harold the jewels.
And I'll have to protect my daughter. I suppose I'll have to kill him, don't you think?
Oh, you. Becky tells Willie it's time for sex.
But I gotta do my work. I'll lose my job.
Willie, you can always get another job. But you're never going to get a chance like this again.
She presents a very compelling argument. Over in the gym, she's now killing time.
I thought you liked me.
Like you? I think you're a pathetic halfwit.
Uh-oh. She taunts him and taunts him and taunts him until he finally loses it.
I'd rather make love to a monkey. At least I'd have some fun with him.
Did she have celery in her pocket? So Becky's dead.
She enticed me.
Cindy tells Harold that she knows he murdered his wife and is going to go to the police. He grabs her and Mama comes in ready to shoot. Only she's not good at this. So he takes her hostage and goes on the run. One daughter dead, one daughter kidnapped.
This is going great.
Paul tries to help but gets kicked in the jimmy. Harold drives away and Mama goes after him. Paul calls Roy to tell him what happened. Addie then tells Roy to shoot Paul and all their problems will be solved.
Kill him, Roy?
You brought this on yourself, Roy. You stuck your dick in crazy. Harold's car gets stuck and Cindy runs away. I can't believe she left. Roy runs into Paul. Roy comes to his senses and decides not to shoot him. So they join forces to save Cindy. Mama finds Harold, and he's turned into a cartoon villain.
What have you done to Cindy?
I cut out her tongue and I left her for dead.
She shoots him and he runs her over. So now they're both dead. Well, that worked itself out, didn't it? Roy goes to arrest Addie. Now with all that cleared up, Cindy and Paul go off on their new life together. Mama's Dirty Girls was directed by John Hayes. He got his start in the industry in the 1950s with his short film The Kiss, which got him an Oscar nomination for Best Live-Action Short Film in 1958. However, after that, he moved into making a variety of exploitation films, like The Cutthroats, The Farmer's Daughter, and Sweet Trash. The movie starred Gloria Graham as Mama Love. Her first role was in Blonde Fever in 1944, but it was her role of Violet in 1944's It's a Wonderful Life that gained her widespread attention. In 1952, she won Best Supporting Actress for The Bad and the Beautiful. Unfortunately, due to a sex scandal, which is a little too long to go into here, her career suffered. She started doing trashier films like Mansion of the Doomed and Mama's Dirty Girls. Sadly, in 1975, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then in 1981, she died of stomach cancer. She was only 57. The evil redheaded daughter Addie was played by Sandra Curry. You may remember her from my video on Policewoman. Candice Rialson played Becky. Her first credited role was in Pets in 1973. After that, she did a bunch of exploitation films for Roger Corman, like Candy Striped Nurses and Summer School Teachers. While never gaining mainstream attention, she did have small parts in big movies like Logan's Run and The Eiger Sanction. In 1977, she starred in her most notorious film, Chatterbox, where she played a woman with a talking vagina. Quentin Tarantino was a big fan and said that Bridget Fonda's character in Jackie Brown was modeled after the actress. Sadly, Rialson died in 2006 of liver disease at the age of 54. Mama's Dirty Girls is an exploitation classic. It has all the elements for some 70s sleaze, but also has a pretty good story to boot. Here is this family of awful people who meet an equally awful guy, and they battle it out to the death. The fact that they all get their comeuppance at the end was very refreshing. Mama's Dirty Girls is solid 70s exploitation. It is on Blu-ray, but as you can see, it's from a print of the film, but not a restored print. I do hope somebody cleans this up at one point, because it's some genuinely entertaining trash. The movie has a decent amount of nudity, some good stars, and a solid story about awful people getting exactly what they deserve.